When we started this show talking about Russia last night, we said war was imminent. Tonight, it's well underway. Russian troops have been attacking on multiple fronts in Ukraine for nearly a day now, and authorities say dozens of people, including civilians, have been killed with widespread shelling, attacks on airfields, including the capital Kyiv's largest airport, and the total Russian takeover of the abandoned Chernobyl nuclear power plant. This afternoon, Joe Biden announced a new set of sanctions in conjunction with U.S. allies and made it clear he believes the takeover of Ukraine would be only the start if Putin has his way.
He has much larger ambitions in Ukraine. He wants to, in fact, reestablish the former Soviet Union. That's what this is about. We have purposely designed these sanctions to maximize the long-term impact on Russia and to minimize the impact on the United States and our allies.
Biden and the allies did stop short of sanctioning Putin himself directly, at least for now. And while the White House is directing more supplies to Ukraine and more troops to the region, Biden reiterated American forces will not fight in Ukraine itself. I'm joined now by two Ukrainian citizens who are currently studying at MIT, but have many loved ones back home in Ukraine, Sasha Horokh and Vlada Petrosenko. Vlada and Sasha, thank you so much for spending some time with us tonight.
Sure, thank you for inviting us.
Sasha, starting with you. Thank you. Sasha, starting with you, how are your family? How are your people you love back home? How are they doing?
My family is back in Ukraine, as well as most of my friends there. And I was staying in touch with them ever since I found out about the start of Russia attack, which was 10 p.m. last night by Boston time and 5 a.m. in Ukraine at that time. They're staying in Ukraine, trying to stay calm and just do whatever they can to protect Ukraine.
When you say stay calm, are they not scared? When I see average Ukrainians on the street on television at night, I am stunned how brave and defiant they seem to be. Are they scared for their futures?
They definitely are scared for their futures, for their loved ones' futures, for the future of their country and their homes. However, being scared is not going to help much. And right now, we're trying not to be scared or panicked, but rather do actions that may help Ukraine, help Ukrainian army, and defend our country.
Vlada, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that Ukrainians are fighting for their country and standing for their freedom. So that's what we are doing right now.
Vlada, how are your family and friends back home doing?
My family back home and my friends are also pretty scared because, they woke up last night because they heard explosions, and there were being explosions all around the cities. In all major cities, they were targeting, at least as for my information, they were targeting strategically important places, but it was all around Ukraine. So, all this time we've been in continuous touch with them to try to support and be aware of what's actually happening. But that's pretty scary.
Vlada, last night we shared a poll with our viewers that only 26% of Americans thought our government should play a major role in Ukraine, barely 1 in 4. Vlada, does that trouble you that Americans seem to have this pretty far down the priority list?
I would say that it is concerning that the statistics is this way, because this war is not only about Ukraine and Russia. It is about Russia attacking countries without actually being any sort of reasonable. And, we don't know who is next. US can be there at some point. And I do not agree that Americans don't consider that being their problems, because it is, in my point of view.
Sasha, do you and your family and friends back in Ukraine, do they feel the United States is doing enough to help them?
I would say that I'm not exactly sure how my parents and my loved ones in Ukraine feel about that, because my conversation with them weren't about that mostly.
How do you feel about it?
Yes, so like, the way I feel about it is I believe that the situation that happens in Ukraine right now is Russia being aggressor and being very cruel with type of weapons it uses, which are banned by many international agreements, and because they're considered too cruel. And the way Russia just doesn't care about all of that is not only attack on Ukraine, but also attack on the idea of democracy overall and human rights,
Yes.
and also the idea of keeping the peace in the world. So I believe that US should be kind of more concerned, because we are very grateful for the sanctions and support US shows to Ukraine. However, so far it wasn't enough to stop Russia or to make it a very big obstacle to it. So I believe that right now all the answers should be as strict, all the sanctions should be as strict as possible, so that we stop whatever is happening right now. And in particular, we want Russia to be disconnected from SWIFT, because as President Biden said, that might be one of the options for future steps. However, it's right now Russian troops bombing all around Ukraine and Russian army trying to invade. It's already a very far step.
Vlada, each of you actually, but starting with you, Vlada, just a few seconds I have left. For the 52% of people in that same poll who thought that America should play no more than a minor role in the war in Ukraine, what do you say to them? What do you want them to know?
I want them to know that it's not as distant as it feels, and yeah, it is actually not just somewhere there in Ukraine, it's all around. Like, we're here in the US, I don't know. And I also want to tell them that they actually can play the role and their impact actually matters. So yeah, they have to acknowledge that situation is happening. They have to realize that it is important, and they can donate, they can support the sanction petitions. And yeah, I feel like it's everyone's responsibility to actually unite against pretty aggressive country, which is attacking at this moment.
Sasha, I have 30 seconds. What do you want people to know?
Well, first of all, I want people to know that even if they're far abroad from Ukraine, they can support Ukraine, and there are a few ways they can do that. First of all, checking your news sources and only reposting and sharing reliable news. Second of all, donating to Ukrainian army, which defends our homes, people there, and actually the peace in all Europe and probably in the whole world. Finally, people can speak up. That's both about Russian people, Ukrainian people, and people from all over the world. They can speak up and demand sanctions from their countries so that Russian aggression doesn't spread further.
Sasha, Vlada, you're both great advocates. I wish you and your families good luck. Thanks so much for your time tonight.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.